A series of earthquakes in southern Oklahoma is adding fuel to the debate over seismic activity and possible links to oil and gas wastewater disposal wells. The state has seen a spike in earthquake activity in recent years, and the state's top seismologist says the quakes are becoming more common in areas not previously known for tremblers. All the shaking has scientists searching for answers and interest building for new rules governing drilling in Oklahoma.
It was a very loud boom, and then our house rattled for several seconds.
Love County resident Leslie Walker is one of hundreds of people in southern Oklahoma who want to know what caused a recent series of quakes near Marietta. Seismologist Austin Holland with the Oklahoma Geological Survey says the tremors began in mid-September, culminating in a 3.4 magnitude quake on September 23rd.
And it, knocked down chimneys, cracked a brick, broke a window, did a variety of what we'd call minor damage, but still it did damage in the area.
While Love County has experienced earthquake swarms, it's not an area that typically sees much seismic activity. But the Oklahoma Geological Survey has recorded 18 quakes with a magnitude of 2.0 or greater in the last month. Area residents think the quakes may be related to this saltwater disposal well north of Marietta. Love County Disposal Well number 1 went into operation September 9th, and within a week, tremors began shaking the ground. Oklahoma Corporation Commission spokesman Matt Skinner says after receiving complaints from nearby residents, the commission sent investigators to the area, and the Oklahoma Geological Survey submitted an initial report September 26th.
This is still a preliminary report, but it was close enough now to the injection well, based on Austin's assessment, for us to declare what we call a yellow light, which basically is caution.
Under the traffic light system, the commission ordered the well owner, Tom Dunlap, to drastically curtail operations, reducing pressure and volume to less than 5% of capacity.
The next day, we received an email from Tom Dunlap saying that he was going to shut in the well because it wasn't economically feasible to operate at that point.
The well remains shut in for now, and the commission has ordered a second nearby well not to go into operation until they give approval. While the quakes in Love County have stopped, the questions haven't. OGS is still investigating, and Holland is nearing completion on a second report.
And in there it'll define how, if injection is started again, how we would identify whether the earthquakes, if there's any more earthquakes, how we can identify whether those are caused by fluid injection or not.
Fluid injection is believed to cause earthquakes by increasing the pore pressure of underground rock and reducing friction holding the rock together. That causes fault lines to slip and creates tremors felt on the surface. Holland admits the Love County earthquakes are suspicious.
Clearly, this is one of the better cases where we might be seeing earthquakes caused by fluid injection, but it isn't definitive. This could be a coincidence.
State Senator Frank Simpson and State Representative Tommy Hardin held a town hall meeting in Marietta earlier this month for residents seeking answers.
Many of the people there wanted someone to draw a direct connection between the disposal well and the earthquakes. The experts there were not prepared to connect the two. They did use the word in conjunction with each other, which not necessarily mean one caused the other, but that they both happened at the same time. But of course, many of the residents that were at the town hall meeting were skeptical of that because they felt no tremors until the disposal well went into operation, and at that time they began to feel the tremors. So in their minds, there is a direct connection between the two.
What concerns Simpson is the timing of the earthquakes.
When I look at the initial data and I see the volume of disposal well productivity and the track of seismic activity, the 2 days of highest well productivity are the 2 days of our highest seismic activity. I'm no geologist and I'm no expert on earthquakes, but that seems to be too much of a coincidence for me.
The preliminary report by the OGS bears out Simpson's concerns. The report shows the days with the highest injection levels on September 19th, 21st, and 23rd were also the days with the highest number of earthquakes of magnitude 2.0 or greater. Holland isn't ready to draw a conclusion, but notes Oklahoma has experienced a surge in quake activity.
over the past 4 years, roughly, we've seen almost a 100-fold increase in the number of earthquakes in Oklahoma. Truly remarkable change in earthquake rates, and some of that is because we have better instrumentation out in the field and that sort of thing. You know, we could be looking at, we've finally reached some, you know, threshold, we've filled the bathtub, if you will. But there's probably also some natural process occurring as well that is exacerbating things.
Holland is reluctant to point the finger at the energy industry.
It can't all be due to changes in oil and gas activity because we don't have corresponding changes of orders of magnitude like that through every single portion of Oklahoma.
Holland's position is shared by colleagues at the Oklahoma Geological Survey, which has a mandate to promote the wise use of Oklahoma's natural resources consistent with sound environmental practices. In a position paper from December of 2011, the OGS emphasized other forces could be responsible, stating, "We consider a rush to judgment about earthquakes being triggered to be harmful to state, public, and industry interest. We are taking a measured and scientific approach to addressing issues so that any conclusion that earthquakes are linked to oil and gas activities can be scientifically defensible." The Sierra Club's David Ockham has no such reservations.
The science is absolutely clear on induced seismicity for injection wells. The journal Science, the most prestigious journal in all of science, has come up with the conclusion through U.S. Geological Survey scientists that injection wells can cause induced seismicity and in many cases are causing it across the country.
Ockham wants the Oklahoma Corporation Commission to become more proactive in regulating injection wells.
The Corporation Commission simply hasn't done enough. We need definitive rules in place, much like the legislation that passed through Ohio, in order to protect Oklahoma property owners and Oklahoma citizens from the risks of earthquakes.
Corporation Commissioner Dana Murphy says the Commission is working with the OGS to formulate a series of best practices regarding wastewater disposal wells.
We've helped fund their request for a grant that would provide more equipment for measuring seismic activity. We've worked with multiple researchers, across the United States. We've had operators that have been really willing, to work with us as well.
Murphy does not believe legislation regulating injection wells is the answer.
You can put a statute in place and a year later it's totally outdated. If we'd have put statutes in place for drilling certain ways back when vertical drilling was in place or horizontal drilling, we would really be challenged. Now it's very difficult to go back and adjust when you deal with a whole different legislature that may come around every few years.
Senator Simpson would also prefer the legislature stay out of the debate, but believes the Commission needs to be more aggressive about evaluating geological risk before issuing permits for new injection wells.
One of the things that came up in our town hall meeting was the Corporation Commission even admitted that their process for permitting injection wells needed some work, that they needed to have a better means of evaluating the area and making sure they're not going to create any problems in the area where an injection well is permitted.
The OGS is asking Love County residents for more information about seismic activity in the area. Reports can be made at the survey's webpage at ogs.ou.edu.